There's no question that the United States is in major debt, but the latest numbers show that the national debt of this country has surpassed $14 trillion for the first time. From June of 2010 to the end of the year, the United States managed to rack up another $1 trillion to its debt. Even scarier, this country is coming extremely close to reaching its statutory ceiling of $14.3 trillion set by Congress last year. So what's going to happen next? And will Congress increase the ceiling even more? Can the United States find a way to stop borrowing? Joining me to help discuss this is professor and economist Michael Hudson from our New York studio. So, Michael, let's talk numbers. The United States government borrows $2.6 million every single minute. Congress has raised the federal debt ceiling 6 times in the past 3 years. But some people are saying that this time, with the number of Tea Party candidates that just got elected, things might be different. What's your take? Do you think Congress will vote to raise the debt ceiling yet again?
The important thing to realize is that the government doesn't really borrow, it creates money. The role of a central bank is to finance the government deficit by printing money. So the whole issue about whether the United States has a debt problem is largely fictitious. The problem the United States has is the foreign debt problem, and that's not even being discussed. When it comes to politics, I'm not part of the political discussion over whether they'll raise it or not. This becomes like a horse race. Will Congress really be crazy? What the Republicans would like to do would be to meet to do something that I think Obama would like, to cure the budget by abolishing the regulatory agencies, emptying out the FBI, stopping the Securities and Exchange Commission from regulation, firing all of the central bank regulators, and essentially letting the financial criminals have a free way. They'd like to cut what is really needed and use all the money they have for basically political pork giving. I don't think that's really going to happen, but the ideal is to dismember the regulatory system and essentially turn the United States into a kleptocracy, where anything goes, there's no law enforcement, there's no white-collar crime. Essentially, crime is decriminalized if it's financial white-collar crime. I think that's what the government the Republicans would like to see, and it's probably what Obama would like to see. And the idea is, how can they pretend that there's really enough of a crisis to convince the people that it's necessary to abolish the white-collar police force?
Bold words. Michael, recently the chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, Austin Goolsbee, said this about the debt limit. Take a listen.
If we hit the debt ceiling, that's essentially defaulting on our obligations, which is totally unprecedented in American history. The impact on the economy would be catastrophic.
How catastrophic would it be, in your opinion?
It would be like stepping on a piece of gum and having to get it off your shoe. Adam Smith said in The Wealth of Nations that no government has ever repaid its debt, and you can say that today. Nothing has changed. It would be a zero problem. People who talk like that are trying to frighten you, and when a politician tries to frighten you, you can think of, what is it that he wants me to do? How am I being manipulated? This is pure ignorance, and it's obvious that if Mr. Goolsbee knew anything about money and credit, he wouldn't have anything to do with the University of Chicago to begin with.
All right, so if these politicians can simply just continue to vote to raise the ceiling every time the debt gets close to that level, what's the point of even having it? I mean, is it just symbolic? And what are they doing to decrease the debt? It seems as if nothing is happening to stop it from getting higher. It's inevitable that the ceiling is going to have to get raised then, right?
What they want is a congressional argument over what costs to cut back. The Republicans want to essentially prevent the Consumer Protection Agency, for instance, in the Federal Reserve, from having anyone working for it. They want to prevent the Securities and Exchange Commission from having any administrators to find out who's breaking the law. They want to prevent the Environmental Protection Agency from having any inspectors to go out. So the argument over the debt limit becomes an exercise in what regulators are we going to fire first, what elements of the economy will be the first to be decriminalized. That's basically what the argument is about. Which shall be decriminalized to create new monopolies, new free lunches, and less government oversight.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting to see what this 112th Congress does decide when it comes to the debt ceiling. That was Professor and Economist Michael Hudson from our New York studios.